Good evening. I'd like to call the Delaware Muncie Metropolitan Board of Zoning Appeals, February 2021, regularly monthly meeting agenda to order. I apologize for the dogs.
I wonder.
They thought my gavel pounding was somebody knocking at the door, evidently. So, roll call, please.
Mr. Bishop,
Here.
Mr. Jones,
Here.
Ms. Kennison, Ms. Mathewson,
Here.
Mr. Watson,
Here.
Mr. Wisely,
Here.
Mr. Fowler.
Here. Consideration of the January 2021 regularly monthly meeting minutes as distributed.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve those as distributed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bishop,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Mr. Wisely,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes. As your case is read tonight, if somebody could, whoever's representing that case could step up to the podium and give us your name and address and a brief description of what you're looking for, that would be greatly appreciated. And after your case has been read and either approved or denied, you are free to leave the meeting. New business, please.
BZA 03-21, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Muncie Investors LLC, 10201 North Illinois Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, requesting a variance from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow an increased front setback build-to line for a new medical office building on premises located on the south side of Bethel Avenue, 400 feet west of Morrison Road, Muncie, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Who represents this case?
My name is Boyd Zacola, here on behalf of Muncie Investors, offices located at 10201 North Illinois Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46290. Sorry. This is a six acre site. We are proposing an office building. The majority of the site, about 5 acres, drains to the northeast. And the nature of this medical office building requires multiple different entry points, along with an odd-shaped parcel is the reason that we're requesting the ability to move the office building back from the 20-foot maximum setback. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have about the development.
Is the main reason, you know, how you're looking to do the parking in the front and retention area and all that stuff? I mean,
yes, the primary reason is the ability to have separated patient and staff parking, but also the majority of this site, you know, one thought would be to take the water and store it at the back, but all of the water is trying to go to the northeast.
okay. Where would be the employee parking then? In the rear?
In the rear.
Okay. And then the patients would be all out front then and come in the main door out front?
Front and the sides, and they would enter through the main entrance.
Okay. Mert, I assume all the other buffers and landscape area and all that stuff is being looked at and this contingent final approval and all through you guys?
Yes, it's, I think it's even stated in the case analysis that they have not finalized their site plan and landscape plan, but they fully intend to meet all of those requirements when they finalize things. So I can't say that they have yet, but the expectation is that they will. And they certainly have room and space to do so.
Yeah, I understand that was in there. I just wanted to hear from you and have
Yeah.
it on record for that. So I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
Anybody else from the board have any further questions? Seeing none, you may have a seat. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in support of BZA 03-21?
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Brad Bookout with Delaware County Redevelopment and Economic Development. I'm here to speak in favor of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission for the project. This project is going on a parcel of property that the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission received in an economic development transaction that it conducted with Cole Academy a few years ago. And we were approached by Mr. Hokinson, Boyd Zacola, regarding this development. And the commission favorably worked with Mr. Zacola and the local Caldwell Banker Group for the sale of this property. And we are in support of the end use of the facility at this location. We will believe it will enhance the area, add significantly to the tax base, and be a creator of new jobs for our area. So we appreciate your consideration today. I'm happy to answer any questions on behalf of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bookout? Seeing none, thank you, Brad. Anybody else here wishing to speak in support of BZA 03-21? I can't see you shaking your head or not, Fred, so
Doesn't seem to be, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. Is there anyone else? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in opposition of BZA 03-21?
There seems to be nobody.
Thank you. Any further discussion from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman and Chair, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move for approval of BZA 3-21 with an approved site plan and all the hardships stated therein.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes.
We have a second from Mike.
Oh, okay. Just to be clear, that your motion, Mr. Watson, meant that you're approving it with the understanding that they will submit a complete site plan in compliance with all other requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bishop,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson,
yes,
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Mr. Wisely,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
Thank you. That is 6 yes, 0 no with 1 absent, and that is approval of the request, and we will issue a certificate setting forth the approval, and that will allow, and forward a copy to the owners, and that will allow you to move forward with obtaining all of your required permits, building, drainage, erosion control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you, everyone.
Brad,
Thanks for coming.
as I said, once your case has been read and approved or denied, you are free to leave. Next case, please.
BZA 04-21, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by James Stevenson, 17701 North State Road 167, Dunkirk, Indiana, requesting a variance from the terms of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a decreased corner lot roadside setback for a new 30-foot by 40-foot pole barn on premises located at 17701 North State Road 167, Niles Township, Delaware County, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Who represents this case?
James Stevenson, 17701 North State Road 167. North.
Mr. Stevenson, could you give us a little description of what you're looking to do here?
Well, this property I recently got, and I'd like to put a little pole barn, shop, garage, whatever you want to call it, out there by the house. And the location was picked because of perimeter drains and other issues around the house.
I also noticed, it's basically right where you've already got an existing somewhat drive coming in there.
Yeah.
Is that part of it too?
That was a big one, and that's 30 foot wide, so I wanted to keep it the same width. And we have moved it slightly. Originally, I think there was 41 foot, and we've got it up to 43 by decreasing the front porch on it.
Okay.
And if you notice, there's a perimeter drain between it and the house, and I want to stay away from that as much as possible.
And this will just be for personal use and personal use only?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything. Storage, my truck, I've got another truck and a trailer, mowers and stuff like that.
Does anybody from the board have any further questions?
No, I don't think so.
Seeing none, Mr. Stevenson, you may have a seat.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak in support of BZA 04-21?
There doesn't seem to be anybody.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would refer you to, we did receive two emails, and I don't know if those were forwarded in the packets or not.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They're at the very
so-
back of our packet.
Okay, so they're both are saying that they have no objection. The one from Mr. Carter does say that as long as there's no visibility issues, and if you look at the case analysis and the aerial in the case analysis, and it shows where the proposed barn would be located, it's well back from the intersection, and so southbound 167 traffic would not be, the visibility for traffic would not be impacted.
Yeah, and it's quite a ways back from the intersection and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for introducing those, Marta. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in opposition of BZA 04-21?
Does not appear to be so, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Fred. Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for approval of BZA 4-21 for personal use only and for the applicant only.
Second.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson,
yes,
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Mr. Wisely,
Yes.
Mr. Bishop,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
That is 6 yes, 0 no, with 1 absent, and that is approval of the request, and we will issue a certificate and forward that to Mr. Stevenson, and that will allow him to move forward with obtaining all of his permits through our office.
Thank you. Next case, please.
BZA 05-21 Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by trustees of the Anthony George Brinkman and Ellen Ada Brinkman Trust and Muncie Property Holdings LLC, 6402 Cornell Avenue, Indianapolis, Indiana, requesting a variance from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow reduced parking for a restaurant in an existing commercial building on premises located at 720 West McGalliard Road, Muncie, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Who represents this case?
My name is Jeff Kimball. I'm with Market Holdings. It's stated as Muncie Property Holdings, but the applicant is Market Holdings, and our address is correct, 6402 Cornell Avenue, Indianapolis, 46220.
Mr. Kimball, if you could give us a little bit of what you're asking for today and the hardships that are set forth is?
Yes. So what we're requesting is, as stated, a variance on the parking requirement for a restaurant, which is 1 per 100 square feet. This is a 2,300 square foot existing building that we're going to renovate, 2,250 actually, and so that would require 23 spaces. There are actually 23 spaces on the property, but 6 of those encroach on the right-of-way. We only have permanently available to us 17 and are requesting a variance for that. It had been a restaurant at one time. Its initial construction was for a restaurant, but most recently had been the Brinkman Shoes store, and our proposal is to convert it back into a restaurant. Do you all have the package that shows our site plans, current, and what we're proposing, and then also the proposed renovations to the facade?
Yes.
Okay, so that's it, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
So I know Chipotle is pretty much fast food. So is your main thing going to be drive-through, or what percent of business is done at these restaurants drive-through to parking and takeout?
Yeah, so Chipotle does it a little bit differently. It's a pickup window, not a drive-through. So with Chipotle, you place your order online somehow on your phone, on their app, or any method you call in, I suppose, any method you choose. And then you simply drive up and pick it up. You pay and pick up. So it doesn't create the stacking that your more traditional drive-through window would, with an order board and then pickup. And traditionally with fast food, pickup or drive-through runs 50% or more of revenues. We would expect this one to be in that range as well.
Okay. I see that the sign is going to come down, and are you guys going to put in a ground sign then?
Yeah,
Subject to the new corridor standards?
yes, we intend to erect a new monument sign, where we can, along McGalliard.
Okay. Anybody from the board have any further questions?
What is the seating capacity of the building?
Oh gosh, fair question. Typically, like I apologize. I do not have that with me. Typically, with a Chipotle of this size, it's not exactly the prototype. It's just a little bit smaller, but there would be about 30.
I think my questions are actually for Marta. So I know the buffer to the house to the north, it stops a little shy of the northwest corner. I just wanted to verify that nothing needs done to further screen that property from the resident zone.
That is correct, because they are not doing any expansion of the building nor any expansion of the land area.
And then I assume it's still this way. The curb cut off McGalliard doesn't have ADA sidewalks. Like there's still like a 6-inch curb. Is
Well,
that
it looks
something
like,
that they're required to make compliant? And it looks like it's just to the looks like it's just one side of the curb cut, and that would be the west side.
Yeah, and that would be something that would be handled through the engineer's office and the driveway permit, or the inspection and review of the driveway. And so I can let the city engineer know to be aware and double check that.
Okay, but that would not need to be a part of a motion or anything.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from the board? Seeing none, Mr. Kimball, you may have a seat.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak in support of BZA 05-21?
It does not appear to be anybody, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Fred. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition of BZA 05-21?
It does not appear to be so, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Fred. Seeing none. Chair, will any further discussion from the board? Marta, do you have anything further to say on this?
No, well, one thing, just for the record, I was shuffling paper and I don't know if this was mentioned, but they have gone to the city engineer and Board of Works to basically get their blessing to be able to continue to use the parking spaces in the right-of-way.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no further discussion, Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for approval of BZA 05-21 with the hardship stated therein.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Mathewson,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Mr. Wisely,
Yes.
Mr. Bishop,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
That is 6 yes, 0 no, with 1 absent, and that is approval of the request. We will issue a certificate that sets forth that approval and forward a copy to the owner and to the city building commissioner's office, and that will allow you to move forward with obtaining all of the necessary permits.
Report from the director.
Okay. Well, the only thing that I might mention is that we are, and I think I might have mentioned it before, but the Plan Commission office is working with a consultant on doing a new comprehensive land use plan that is intended to guide decision makers such as yourself through, the next 20 years, and a new Muncie strategic investment plan that will be the new MAP, Muncie Action Plan. And we are going live with a website on Monday. And also on the website, there will be a survey for people to start filling out. And we will also be having sessions where they will invite elected and appointed officials such as yourself. So just so you know, those would be things that will be coming up over the course of the next few months. That it's anticipated that the project will run throughout the remainder of the year with lots of opportunity for input. and hopefully have 2 plan documents ready for adoption in December at the end of this year. So
Okay. Now, will we be invited to those meetings, or are they just,
no, I'll make sure I'll invite you.
oh, thank you. Okay.
That's it.
Anything else? Seeing none, Brad said to get it done by 7 o'clock for Wheel of Fortune. So we're 5 minutes till. Chair will
Hey.
entertain a motion for adjournment.
I
So
practically
moved.
have time to eat and cook dinner.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. We're adjourned.